This just in. Breaking news. Welcome to the special report. Breaking news, we have spotted the magical phone. It has been located somewhere in this video. If you see it, let me know in the comments down below. This is brought to you by gear.com. Thanks for watching. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Welcome back to the vlog. Today, I've got a little story for you. The story is about how TA broke my truck this weekend. And how that, coupled with, I can't get the zipper to work. You'd think I'd never used a zipper before. But how that, coupled with the way freight's been going lately, has snowballed and wound up costing me thousands of dollars. Yeah. And they're not even trying to make it right. But before we get into that story, I need to run and deliver this load of shingles, so I will meet you guys back over at the TA. Shingles off. Well, nothing went as planned. By the way, safety glasses are, they're integral, if you're a flatbedder. So pick yourself up a good solid pair of safety glasses. You won't regret it. And my recommendation, pick up a pair that doubles as sunglasses and that are polarized. I could not find these on Amazon, but I will link some in the description down below. They're actually way cheaper than what they are in the truck stop, and these actually aren't even polarized, but the ones that I will link down below, I think the polarized ones actually are the same price. You can find ones that are not polarized for about half the price. So I'll just link one pair down below. You can check those out, and they'll take you to Amazon. And there is a company called Edge Eyewear, and they make a ton of safety glasses, all kinds, you know, different qualities, polarized and not polarized, but they're also cool. So check those out, check that company out. You can find all those on Amazon. Like I said, link down in the description down below. But back to what we were talking about, nothing has gone as planned. I'm back at the TA, I'm back at the Pilot, not the TA, and I was gonna do this outside, that way I'm not just talking head, kind of boring you guys, but so I'll try to make this quick. But the truck beside me, it's 45 degrees outside and he's idling. I mean, it's his truck, he can do whatever he wants to do, but man, he's just wasting fuel. So anyway, so yeah, the TA broke my truck. Last week I took a load, and I took a short load on Friday. That way I could get it done Friday, could be parked, get my truck in the shop early Saturday morning. That's a good tip right there. Get it in the shop early in the morning. That way you're not stuck all night. So I did that, cost myself a little bit of money last week, but I needed to get these speed sensors in. I stopped and bought 5. I've already replaced one, and it was the one that was really bad. You could tell just looking at it. So I was hoping that was the issue, but turns out it still comes on and off intermittently. So I thought, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna buy 5 more. I'm gonna have enough for all the wheels. I'm gonna start with the ones on the drives, because most likely those are the ones that are gonna be bad, because they're gonna get most of the grit and the grime of the road up back there. So I assumed that those were the bad ones, and if they were not, well, I've still got the other 2, and I'll just get the front 2 replaced if that light does happen to come back on. But so far so good. So I get over there, put it in the shop. They actually find a wheel seal that had just started leaking. So it's like, well, dadgummit, yeah, let's go ahead and fix that. So put it in I actually wound up getting into the shop about noon. They asked me, they said, look, are you in a hurry? I said, no, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not, leaving out here. I've only got 100 miles to drive. I can drive that Sunday afternoon. It's not really gonna affect my time next week. I run flatbed, so that's, nice and easy. We generally don't use all of our 70, sometimes, but not always. And no big deal. Take whatever time you need. I'm cool with it. Get whatever you need done. So about 10:30 at night, they've already got the wheel seal done, and the mechanic comes and gets me, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching Vikings on my phone, and he's like, man, we got an issue. I said, okay. So went out there. I kind of assumed he couldn't get the speed sensor out, and sure enough, yeah, that's what it was. But the bracket that holds that speed sensor in place, he broke off, and he showed it to me, and I was like, huh, well, tell me the story. And he went through his whole spiel, blah 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 blah, did this, blah 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 blah, did that, blah 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 blah, pry bar, blah blah blah. What pry bar? Hold on a second. You used a pry bar? Yeah, man, I got the pry bar because I couldn't get the sensor out, and I was like, man, why did you use a pry bar? Well, it was stuck and I couldn't get the sensor. I was like, well, how come you didn't just punch it out? I said, that's normally what happens. You break off the end of the speed sensor and you just punch it out, and it comes right out. Why did you use a pry bar? And I had to ask him that a few times, and he was like, man, I'm sorry. I thought that's what I needed to get it out. And there's only 2 bolts that bolts this bracket on, so really you could just take those 2 bolts off, take the bracket out, and then mess with it without being attached to the truck, and not have to take a pry bar to this bracket. Anyway, so I didn't want to make him feel too bad. I was trying to be as polite as I could. Obviously, I'm irritated, but he talked about how the next guy coming on shift, which was coming on, they'd already called him, and he was actually going to come in a little bit early to see if he could weld this back on. And I said, that's fine, no problem. I don't care if it's welded, not a big deal. because I knew that they would have to go get this part from a dealership, and that would cost me at best 1 day, if not more. So no big deal, you know, let's wait for him to get in. Well, he comes in, man, I can't weld this. This is aluminum. I don't know if he didn't have the right tools there to do it, or if he just didn't have the skill to weld aluminum. I know that's much more difficult than your typical welding. So we come to this conclusion that they're gonna have to go get this bracket from a dealer and install it. And I'm like, man, I have to get this load off. I need to deliver this load. I said, look, I'm coming back by this way to go reload, and you know, maybe you guys can have the part here whenever I swing back through. You can just put the truck back together now, and we can deal with that on Monday. And then maybe, hopefully, if everything goes swimmingly, that I won't lose any time. And he said, okay, great. So I go back inside, I proceed to watch my show, and I'm into this show and I'm not really paying attention. The next thing I realize is that I'm sitting there, I'm nodding off, and I'm like, man, wait a minute, what time is it? And I look at my phone and it's after 3 a.m. I'm like, all you had to do was put one wheel on. So I walked outside and went and checked, and my truck was still in the exact same position as when I walked back inside. I caught the mechanic and I was like, hey man, I thought you were gonna put my truck back together. And he said, no, I thought we were gonna take care of this Monday. And I was like, man, we went over all of that. I said, look, I don't care about all that. I don't even want to get into that right now. I just need some sleep. I said, I need to go to sleep. And he's like, just go ahead and sleep inside, go ahead and sleep inside your truck. I'm like, huh? All right, whatever. I'm a heavy sleeper, so the noise wasn't gonna bother me. I don't care. And then on top of that, I didn't have to idle outside because, yeah, it's in the negative temperatures up there in Michigan over the weekend. So that was fun. But anyways, so I wake up the next day and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go eat. I'm not even gonna worry about any of this. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm just gonna go eat, get myself in a better frame of mind to deal with everything that's going on. So I go eat, I come back, it's about noon, okay? Remember, I put my truck in the shop at noon. So now it's noon the next day, and I walk out there and my truck is still exactly in the same position. There's a new mechanic, he's walking by. I'm like, hey man, what's going on with this truck? And he's like, what do you mean? I told him the quick rundown, and I said, look, I just need this truck put back together. I said, I need to go out there, I need to hook up to my trailer, I need to see if the brakes are frozen, I need to deal with all of that, get prepared to go deliver this load tomorrow so that way I can come back by, hopefully get all this taken care of. He says, all right, I'll put it back together. Literally less than 10 minutes, and he's got my truck back together. And I'm like, man, thank you so much. So I go and take care of that. Meanwhile, that night, there was a manager that was coming on duty, and my original quote was $760 to have all of that done. I know it's high, but it is what it is. And the mechanics, which they don't have any say in all of this, I understand that, but they were just kind of ballparking. They said, look, we're gonna take care of the bracket, that's gonna be on us. Your bill will probably wind up being somewhere between $500 and $550. And I was like, well, all right, we'll take care of that another time. Well, the next time that a manager was coming on duty was midnight Sunday. So I thought, well, I'm gonna wake up super early and go talk with this manager, and then run up, deliver my load, and come back. So I go in, I talk with her, and she's like, well, the only person that really has authorization to take care of any of this would be the district manager. He's out of town along with our manager, so we can't really do anything. Our hands are tied, but most likely what's gonna happen is he's gonna discount it $300. So I'm like, okay, so now we're looking at $460. I'm like, it's getting a little bit better. It's still not, even if they took care of the entire bill and Monday doesn't go swimmingly, I lose Monday, I'm out, $1,000. That load was, the load that I was going to pick up was a $1,200 load, and roughly with the fuel that I had in, I was only going to spend about $200 in fuel, so it was actually going to cost me right at about $1,000. And so even if they took care of the whole thing, that doesn't make up for all of it. But So I go up there to deliver. I call back to the TA. They did have the part. They had to go all the way to Grand Rapids, which was the second closest dealership, which was an hour and a half away. So hour and a half one way, hour and a half back. They went and grabbed the part. They said by the time I get back, they're gonna have it done. I'm gonna come in, go straight in, and that's gonna, it's gonna be good to go. So, all right, cool. I come back, true to their word, they get me straight into the shop, they fix it in an hour, I'm out, I go in to pay. I go in to pay, and I said, okay, how much is it gonna be? And she's got the calculator out, she's going back and forth between two computers, and I'm like, what is the big deal? And she's like, that'll be $660. I'm like, what? That'll be $660. I'm like, okay. I told her about how I'm getting all these different quotes from everyone, and I said, to me, that's completely unacceptable. I said, you're not taking off what you guys damaged. I said, in order for you to put that bracket back on, that speed sensor, that new speed sensor now has to go in, so I shouldn't even be charged for that regardless. And so now you guys, you're not even taking care of anything. I said, the only thing you're really taking care of is what you broke, and which, don't get me wrong, is appreciated, but that's still, that's unacceptable. You've cost me a day, because now I did have to push back that load. I was able to pick up that load that night, but now it doesn't deliver till Wednesday. So now we're looking at 1 day loss. There goes $1,000. So looking at a day loss, and she said, you know what? I don't have any problem. I told her the entire situation. She said, you're gonna get a call tomorrow morning from the manager, and he's gonna take care of it. I said, okay, well, no problem. I don't have an issue with that. I also don't have an issue paying for the work that was done properly, and maybe just a little bit of compensation for my time. I was okay with that. I thought, okay, well, that's what's gonna go down. So the next morning, I get a phone call, and answer the phone, it's the manager, and blah, blah, blah. We need to recover the parts that, we had to put into the truck, blah, blah, blah. Remember that statement, by the way. Blah, blah, blah. We still need to make a profit. I said, okay, what's the damage? That's gonna be $787. And I almost lost it. Are you serious? And he said, yeah. I said, man, that's the highest quote anybody's given me yet. I said, I thought you were supposed to be taking care of this. Are you kidding me? $787? I said, that was higher than the original quote. I thought you guys were taking care of this. You guys were taking care of me. You guys broke my truck. You guys cost me a day. I said, in a day, and that's all we know of for at the moment. I said, I don't know what's gonna happen the rest of the week, because now you've pushed everything back a day for me. Now I can't plan ahead, and who knows what's gonna happen with the freight going the way that it's going at the moment. It is January. I don't see a big difference between this January and last January, and catch this week's version, or this week's edition of the weekly weigh-in, and I'm actually going to go over my entire numbers for the month of January, and you might be surprised. So anyway, he's like, well, I need to talk to the district manager. I said, I was told you guys were going to call the district manager. I said, you're the second person that I've talked to that has told me that this would have already been done, and it still has yet to be done. I said, quite frankly, this is unacceptable, and you guys need to take care of this. And he said, okay, well, I will talk with him, and we'll get back to you. I said, okay, how about this? Do I need to go ahead and call corporate, because maybe somebody over there has the authority to do something about this? And you could tell that he didn't want me to call corporate. He wanted me to handle this with the district manager. Well, I'm giving him a chance to handle this. I was told that I'm going to get a call on Thursday. Today's Thursday. It's after 5 o'clock. No call. So the guy that was supposed to be taking care of this was trying to charge me the absolute most money, because remember the statement, he was trying to cover the cost of the parts that he had to come out of pocket for, which would be an ABS bracket. I called the dealership that they got the ABS bracket from. It's an $8.90 something part. Really, dude? Really? I was furious when I found that out. So, kind of just the way everything has snowballed so far, now I'm just about done. I'm just about out. I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to make this video, and I'm tired of truck drivers just being run over by these truck stops. It's an absolute joke. It's a joke. And I get the fact that he's trying to recoup some money. I get the fact that it's a business and they need to make profit to stay afloat. I get that. But your guy screwed up. He cost me 2 days because today I couldn't find a load because I couldn't pre-plan ahead because I was pushed back. I've lost 2 days this week. 2 days profit as an owner-operator. That's a lot of money. That's multiple thousands of dollars. Multiple. So you're trying to recoup the loss of a $10 product, and I'm trying to not suffer from multiple thousands of dollars in revenue lost? Come on, bro. So I hope you guys share this video out. I hope every person at TA sees this. I hope every person at every other mechanic shop sees this, and maybe one shop will change one protocol in how they do things, and maybe that'll make something better for the next owner operator to come. That's the goal. You know, that's the goal of this video. You know, I don't care. I don't care about paying for, you know, what they were, you know, what they originally did to the truck. I would just hope that they would actually do the right thing in this instance, and just kind of see, you know, what's going on, and see that when your guy does something that costs another person a lot of money, that maybe you actually want to try to give some customer service and take care of that person rather than, you know, smile and talk circles. And, you know, maybe you, I don't know, maybe you thought I was an idiot, maybe you thought that I wouldn't figure it out, but now everybody's gonna see this, man. So I needed to get that story out. I do apologize. You know, it's one of those things. You know, I don't know, man. Maybe he doesn't have his phone. Maybe it just, I don't know, needed to appear. I don't know. But whatever the thing, you know, whatever the deal is, the district manager still hasn't called me. They haven't settled up with me. And I've got the money. That's not the issue. So TA, do the right thing. Take care of this. And owner operators, don't let them take advantage of you. You know, if you can buy the parts, if you can take the parts to the, you know, if you have to have it done at a truck stop, take the parts with you. Stop at the dealership along the way, pick up those parts, because they are triple charging you for everything. And I've had enough, guys. I hope you have too. Be sure to catch this week's, like I already talked about, this Sunday's rendition of the weekly weigh-in. It's going to be this week and how bad it was, and as well as I'm going to go ahead and recap the month of January, so you guys can see kind of where we're sitting. It's not really quite panic mode yet. I just think it's, maybe I got lucky, who knows, but it looks like just kind of a typical January to me. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Smash that like button or dislike button, whatever floats your boat, and remember, stay driven.